The hype for Boruto Chapter 18 is topping the charts right now, as this installment of the series could bring us the show stealer who was first teased in the flash forward almost 9 years ago. Kawaki's limitless avatar, whose outfit is similar to No Limiter Code for obvious reasons, could be making his first appearance in this chapter. But what if that's not how it's meant to be? In the middle of this excitement for Kawaki's new form, the OG one from the prologue, we are forgetting one important setup which could enter the unused bin, if not utilized anytime soon. Amado has implanted a shutdown code in Kawaki, and when the right time comes, he could simply turn him off to gain some more odds in his favor. And by looking at the present circumstances, this could be that time for Amado to shut down Kawaki for the greater good. Stay tuned, as the latest chapter spoilers seem to have turned this possibility into a reality. And for those of you who are just here for the theory, the first half of the video will remain free from the leaks, while the second half will explore the tech spoilers which bring life to this speculation. The thing which has kept most fans intrigued for the big reveal of Kawaki's new form is the involvement of the Prescient's power, which has given the foreknowledge of Amado's limiters to Koji and Boruto. At first it may seem like they have secured an advantage by preponing the release of Kawaki's limiters, but if you think about the way the Shinjutsu works, you will realize that Amado unleashing Kawaki's true form is not an absolute outcome, rather it's one of the many possibilities. This means the story could turn out pretty differently right from this point, meaning the strategy of Boruto and Koji could backfire, all thanks to the risk management of Amado that he had revealed in chapter 73. Moreover, it would be boring if everything goes according to their script, so a twist which brings a forgotten setup back to focus could do wonders for the story. The unexpectedness of Two Blue Vortex is also something which makes a plot twist like this possible, and there are actually not one but many major reasons for Kawaki to enter bedtime in this chapter. The first one deals with the hidden plan of Boruto that we couldn't catch at first glance. What if Koji anticipated that telling Kawaki about the secret limiters would result in his temporary exit from the plot? We know he would have figured it out by himself in the future, but Boruto still chose to tell him this detail. The reason he made Kawaki aware of this is the urgent need to get rid of the Shinju Jura, only because he can eventually trigger the worst possible future. But if you think about it, unlocking the limiters of Kawaki turns him into a liability than an asset for a single reason: impulsivity. The attainment of new powers could throw Kawaki into a superiority complex, meaning he would naturally feel like he can take down Jura on his own. The worst part is that if Kawaki gets devoured by Jura, it will be the end of the world, and I'm sure Boruto and Koji are well aware of this possibility, so maybe they figured out the best way to keep Kawaki out of the picture, which is by the means of using his own emotions against him. By providing him clarity on how he has been used by Amado, they have hit his nerve, and now he has sabotaged the scientist to obtain his true power. But there is one thing that he might not be aware about. For the limiters to turn off, he needs to make eye contact with Amado, similar to how Code attained his limitless form. But for the shutdown code to work, Amado must say it out loud, and Kawaki must hear the command directly from his mouth. This means he can be put to sleep in no time. Now the question remains, how likely is it for Amado to go down this path and make Kawaki a victim of his programming? Well, there are more reasons for Amado to preserve Kawaki than anyone else, so we could actually be up to something with this possibility. Back in chapter 8, Amado expressed his surprise at Jura and his enormous power level. Then in chapter 14, he understood that the Shinjus are sentient tentails who are now more dangerous than ever. And since he was the one who told us about the sacrifice system of the Otsutsuki's, it won't be wrong to assume that he has already seen the possibility of losing the only way to revive his daughter Akebi. If Kawaki somehow gets devoured by Jura, it will be a game over for Amado's plans. So do you think in the middle of such complicated situation, he would be willing to risk the dawn of all his hard work and plans by making Kawaki go berserk, which would grant him a delusional complex of superiority over Jura? Well, the answer must obviously be a no, and that's where the shutdown code kicks in. So in a nutshell, there is a possibility for Kashin Koji to know about the importance of Kawaki to Amado, and to prevent the destruction of the world, he could have set up the events in a way where Amado would be forced to turn off Kawaki for the greater good. So I just read some tech spoilers right now, and it seems like we have nailed this prediction. Kawaki actually gets turned off by Amado, and it has been pretty much confirmed. So now we can make some better predictions on his fate from this point once we are done with some more reasons for Amado to take this step. So there's a whole iceberg to why the scientist took this step to get rid of Kawaki. First and foremost, the limitless form might not be enough to defeat Jura, meaning that Kawaki could have got himself killed in the conflict sooner or later, and his passing would not just result in Amado's plans getting destroyed, but the fate of the world world would also enter an alarming phase, as one silly mistake from his side would mean that everything is over. So to prevent Kawaki from becoming a victim of his arrogance, Amado took the big step and removed him from the plot for now. I don't think either would have any problem with this scheme of the scientist, since she also desires the welfare of Kawaki. Now the question remains, for how long is this hiatus of Kawaki about to last? Well, here is a spoiler warning for all of you, but according to the leaks of chapter 18, it seems like the shutdown code only put Kawaki to sleep for a few hours before Amado woke him up in a separate room. He then asked him to put his karma on Akebi's clone, but for some reasons, Kawaki refused. Maybe it's just the fear of awakening another Otsutsuki that he expressed in chapter 75. This means he doesn't fully trust Amado, which actually makes sense based on how he modified his body with surveillance scams and used him as a tool all his life. But if you take a look at the bigger picture, Amado could have turned off code as well, but he deliberately refused to do that, and there must be some reasons involved. Maybe his original plan was to make code surpass Kawaki, and when at some point he would ask him for help, Amado could have simply asked him to put the karma on Akebi in return of unlocking the limiters. He wanted to make him a strong pressure agent to Kawaki for getting stronger, and since Amado had capped his powers, he could simply use it as a leverage against him to get his work done. Another aspect of Kawaki's true form getting delayed can be taken as a hint for how deadly the true powers of Ishiki are. Maybe the visuals from the anime opening where Kawaki can be seen destroying the village were not that far-fetched at all. There could be a straightforward reference to Kawaki utilizing the powers of the most feared of Otsutsuki to destroy Konoha. Well, there is a whole iceberg to how the revival of Akebi is the first nail in the coffin for the destruction of Konoha. I have already covered that on my channel, but I will soon bring a much bigger and better video featuring this possibility. So make sure you are subscribed to not miss that. Some more reasons for Kawaki to say no to reviving Akebi could be because he is still pretending to be the son of Naoto without realizing that Amado already knows the truth. The leaks also say the body of Akebi is shown. While I think it's a reference to one of the Delta clones, it would be symbolic if Amado would have preserved her body for so long just to revive her at some point. So will Kawaki take the blue pill or the red pill when it comes to choosing his fate? Will he awaken his true powers by deciding to play a gamble and reviving Akebi, or will he simply live his life as a weakling to hide the truth of the falsehood that he created through Aida's omnipotence? Well, I will try to dig deep to solve these mysteries in future videos, and if you wanna read the entire spoilers, I will link down my Discord in the pinned comment where you can find and discuss all the leaks. Don't forget to check out these videos as well, and I will see you next time.